Hi, this is Zap, and welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast.
I just need a reset. No, it's not enough to press pause. I think I need a reset. I need a reset. Give me a reset.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast. I am not your host, TJ the Gamer, but I am here with your host, Miss ZapCristal. Can you say hi to the people?
Hi. I feel so weird switching spots.
I know, right? This is kind of awkward. Today, I don't know how to do this. You take over. I can't do this.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with, can I press play?
Oh, let's play.
It's playtime, baby. Because we're going to talk about something that I feel people take for granted, but we're gonna help redefine, as a matter of fact.
Ooh, redefine.
What is gaming?
That is an interesting question.
I feel like people take it for granted and kind of think like they know what gaming is, but in this era, 2023, and so forth. What is gaming? What is gaming to us?
See, this is where some people may call this, I guess, slightly controversial. Mm-hmm. But I know what generally people think when you say gaming. Mm-hmm. The first thing that pops into people's head is video games. And I would say that they are incorrect.
Yeah.
I went there.
Okay.
I would say that video games are a type of gaming.
Interesting.
But there are different types of games. Like I would consider a board game gaming.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Card games gaming. Role-playing games gaming. Tabletop gaming. And video games gaming. I look at gaming as a whole, like card game. Uno.
Yeah.
It's part of gaming.
Dominoes. Yeah.
Clue.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Even the ones your grandma made up back in the day.
Yeah. I say gaming is a bigger topic than just video games. I think video games is just a part of what gaming really is.
Interesting. Nice take. I kind of agree. I do agree, actually, because even before video games were a thing, there was some sort of activity that would involve the family getting together and having a good old time. And for me, back in the day, it was definitely board games. Like, we had a stash of board games in the closet. Like, any board game you can think of, any card game you can think of, we pretty much owned. Like, I had I don't know if you remember this board game. It was one of my favorites, actually. Don't Wake Up, Daddy.
Yes, I do actually remember that one.
You remember this?
Wow, you just unlocked a memory just now.
I love
Memory unlocked.
Don't Wake Up, Daddy.
I remember that.
And I was always intimidated of pressing the button that was on the alarm clock, because you're like, oh my God, I don't want to wake him up, because if I wake him up, I got to start all the way from the start.
I'm having a flashback right now, because I even remember the commercial. Don't wake up, Daddy.
Yeah. And you see the kids like tiptoeing, trying to be quiet, and they step on the cat, and the cat was like, meow, all that stuff, all the noises.
I remember that 90s as hell commercial. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Like I haven't, wow, I'm sorry, y'all. My mind is like kind of blown right now. Because I haven't thought about that game in like forever. But as soon as you said it, like I saw the commercial, I saw the board game in my head. Like,
yeah, Don't Wake Up, Daddy.
I just had a moment.
Cheerios. Which one's the other one?
Shoots and Ladders.
Yeah.
Hungry Hippos.
Hungry Hippo. Oh, I loved Hungry Hippo.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, Monopoly. Obviously, it's a classic.
Yeah.
The Game of Life. I played a lot. Always had tons of babies at the end of the game. Tons of babies.
All the babies.
All the babies you can think of. That car was jam-packed with babies, y'all. I could go on and on, but like board games. Clue, obviously, we mentioned it earlier. It was one of my favorite games.
Clue was dope.
And even the ones that my mom used to make up. Listen, if you're Puerto Rican, you know what I'm talking about. There was this one game, we called it Stop, okay? And it was a piece of paper. You pretty much divided it in several columns, and it was name, last name, state, color, object, done. And the way this game worked out is we would choose a letter from the alphabet, and we had to try or make the attempt of filling each one of these columns with a word that would start with this letter. And at the end, everybody would say out loud what they had written down. And if nobody had written down this answer, you would have 10 points. But if somebody did write it down, then it would be 5 points. And then towards the end, you would tally your points, and the one with the highest points would win the game.
I want to play that.
It was super fun.
It sounds fun, actually.
It was super fun because sometimes people would make up crap. They were like, you know, this word don't exist with Z. Where the hell did you get this word with Z?
It sounds like a super Scrabble, like kind of Scrabble-ish kind of.
I used to play it all the time with my mom and my brother. It was one of those games. It was a classic. And then there was another game my mom also made up. This one I definitely know my mom made it up. And she would do 4 columns again and draw like 4 lines. And one would be who you want to marry, where you want to spend vacation at. It was 4 questions. Any question you can think of. I would write down my answers, and then my mom would kind of like tic-tac-toe this thing and then choose an answer from each one, and then reveal to me at the end what my life was going to be. Yeah, it was so much fun. And that's what I mean. Like that, I would consider it gaming back in the day, you know. And then obviously now, you know, back in the 90s, there was a game called Snake on my phone.
Snake.
I would consider that gaming because I played a lot of Snake.
I mean, technically, that would be one of the first video games.
Yeah, it was one of the first mobile games.
True.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
It was one of the very first mobile
I can't think
games.
of anything that came before that.
No, I can't think of anything else. And if I'm wrong, then correct me in the comments. But I want to say for sure that Snake might have been the first mobile game. So yeah, that was considered gaming. Card games, Uno. Oh Lord, a lot of relationships were destroyed with Uno. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah,
but
and if you're black, a lot of relationships were destroyed with spades.
God.
Yeah, where my black people at? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
But that was gaming back in the day. And then computer games, PC. I played a lot of Blue's Clues, Barbie games back in the day. Tomb Raider. I still have to bring this fun fact about me, but when I experienced Tomb Raider, I didn't experience it on the PS1. I actually experienced it for the very first time on PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how I fell in love with Tomb Raider.
Was that the original, like the PS1 game, but just on PC?
Yeah, just on PC. It was available for the PC.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, we played Tomb Raider because my dad is a fan of Tomb Raider. That's his girlfriend, his crush.
Oh, word.
Dad.
I mean, what guy didn't have a crush on Lara Croft, though?
You know what I mean?
Come on.
And so
she was the first baddie.
So my mom for Christmas actually gifted my dad a Tomb Raider game, and it was for the PC. My dad adored Mom that year. She was like, oh, I got Tomb Raider. So we had a blast. That was one of those games that I always shared and spent a great time with my dad. So I consider myself, when it comes to gaming, an overall well-rounded gamer.
Yeah.
Because I play tabletop, I play board games, I play mobile games, console gaming, PC gaming. I don't know, you can go on and on. I just love the fact of having fun, which is what gaming should always be. Fun.
All right, so before we move on to the next thing, quick question then. What is the earliest game you can remember playing?
Oof. God.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a video game, but...
Like any game?
What's the earliest you can remember? Your earliest gaming memory? I'll give you some time to think about it because I actually know what mine's is. Mine's is actually at my cousin's house that passed not too long ago. But I used to go over there and we would, just play around a lot. And he had a Sega Master System.
Okay.
And that is actually the first memory I have of ever picking up a game controller. Is I think it was Alex Kidd. I want to say it was like an Alex Kidd game on the Sega Master System, and that is my earliest memory of ever playing a game. It's like, what is this thing? Like, and I remember the little boxes with the white box with the lines all on them, with the grid base, like really basic box art type stuff. And that was maybe the first video game I've ever played, and probably one of the first games I've ever played. Period.
Wow. My earliest memory. Okay, so my earliest memory, console gaming wise, would have probably been Super Mario Bros.
Okay.
Wait, am I correct? The one with the pipes, the earlier version where the like enemies spawn out of the.
Yeah, that's Super Mario Bros.
Okay, so Super Mario Bros. So
it
yeah,
might just been called Mario Brothers.
or Mario Bros.
I can't remember.
I can't remember the correct name, but that is my earliest memory. And the reason why was because when we got it, it was one of those games that my mom kept talking about. We need games that they both can play and they don't fight over the controller, whose session is first or whose session is next. Because I got into it, y'all. Back in the day, I legitimately hated my sibling. Like, we got into it. When I tell you we got into it, we got into it. Like, we would hit each other. It was a fight, okay, over the NES. And I was the one that, when I was petty, I was petty. I would unplug that console or reset the game so he wouldn't be able to save. Like, if he skipped my session, it was about to go down. Okay.
I can see that too. I can totally see you doing that.
Yeah, like my brother and I back in the day, we didn't get along. Okay, there was hatred in the house, for real. Like, I remember myself using exclusively the word hatred in the house because of how upset I was. So my mom was like, y'all gotta gotta learn to get along. So we're just gonna buy games that you both can play. And yeah, that was one of my earliest memories. And I still gave him a hard time even playing that game. I'm like, you better not screw it up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's I'm proud of those moments. I'm a proud gamer.
Didn't expect that to go that way, but here we are.
Kudos to the siblings who fought in the 90s. It's now made us the gamers we are. God dang it. Anyways.
You know what? With that being said, I think it's time for a reset.
It's a reset. All right, let me reset.
Yeah, there we go.
Like, I reset his game.
This is as we've called it once before. This is the hamburger.
This is the meaty section
of the podcast.
Team Burger.
Yeah, Burger Life.
I still think it's # Team Sandwich.
Yeah, Burger Life over here. You already know it.
Yeah, recently I watched an ad that said chicken sandwich. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Yeah. It probably was because it was a chicken breast, not ground chicken. But anyway. Today we are talking about our favorite game developers and publishers.
Interesting. I like it.
So, since I guess I'm leading this episode today.
Oh wow.
You're gonna start.
Excuse me. Okay.
I mean, I opened it and I'm moving between segments, so I guess.
Wow.
Guess I'm Zap today. So.
Wow. I'm TJ.
Yeah. So all right,
What's
TJ.
up, y'all? We're back.
Yeah. Since you're TJ, give me your opening. Since you're TJ.
Hey everybody, we are back.
Come on, dog. Come on, man. Yeah, dude. Try. I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna give you one more time. Come on now.
I forgot what you say in between.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy TJ, and we are back.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Hey everybody, it's your boy TJ, and we are back with a brand new video. Anyways.
What are some of your favorite game developers and publishers? Because that was an awful impression of me. So I'm going to have to teach you now. But when the cameras go off, I'm about to teach you.
Oh, God.
Let's go.
All right. I can't. Anyways, all right. What were we talking about? Favorite devs and publishers. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So one of my favorite studios that unfortunately are no longer in existence is Alpha Dream.
Ooh.
I love me Alpha Dream, and thanks to Alpha Dream, it was the main reason why I fell in love with the 3DS, because the majority of Alpha Dream's games are available for the 3DS. All the Mario and Luigi series that we all know and love is available on the 3DS. And when it came to Alpha Dreams, like, they don't play. They just don't play. Like, gameplay was fun. The story was catching. The art style and the art direction overall is very catching. And it did a great job to feel like it's a long game while it's still not, in a weird way. I don't know how they did that, but especially for handhelds, but you felt like you were getting your money's worth. So yeah, Alpha Dream is definitely one of my favorite studios. Another one of my favorite studios, obviously, that I've talked over and over and over again is Level 5. Like,
oh yeah, one of mine too, actually.
Wow. When you talk about Level 5, hands down, it's an amazing studio. Like, obviously, if I haven't mentioned it enough, Fantasy Life, Ever Oasis.
Oh yeah.
Ni no Kuni.
Yes.
Do I really have to go on with all the titles that Level 5 has done? Level 5, by the way, is making a sequel. Okay, can I just celebrate the fact that Fantasy Life is getting a sequel?
Let's go.
Pretty soon. And adding to art, story, and gameplay, can we talk about music with Level 5? Because
Level 5 does have the music now. They do got tunes. I will give them that.
Level 5 does great music. Another one of my favorite studios, this one is published by Bandai Namco, so it's considered a second party, but the studio is called Tarsier Studios, and they developed Little Nightmares. So Little Nightmares is one of my favorite games, and Tarsier Studios has done a phenomenal job when it comes to creating Little Nightmares. Jesus, I can go on. Square Enix is another one of my favorite studios.
You just took one of mine.
Mainly because they created Hitman.
Yes, they did. And
Hitman is one of my favorite games. I freaking love this studio. I'm gonna be biased, and I'm gonna stick to one selection. But if we were to build a list of Square Enix games, I think we all know at this point. But yeah, and that's like, if I were to choose a game that I love Square Enix for, it would be Hitman. Crystal Dynamics. Do I really need to explain why? But if you don't know, there's a girl.
I know why.
Yeah?
I know why you like it. Mm-hmm. It's because it's named after you.
Oh yeah, true. And it's very dynamic. No, but of course it is, because it's because they created Tomb Raider. And Tomb Raider is definitely up there for me. It's actually what pushed me to become a better gamer, because it was one of those badass girls back in the day.
Yeah, they what they did with the remakes was absolutely fantastic. Like, what they did with the new Tomb Raider series is absolutely phenomenal. They definitely brought that game back from the brink of non-existence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am really impressed with what they were able to pull off, and I will say the newer Tomb Raider games are actually, fun fact, put the light blinking over there, is I've actually only played the original Tomb Raider once. Like, I never actually completed that game, but I have played the newer Tomb Raider series games, and they are all absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they live up to my expectations. Guys, I can go on because there's a lot of great games out there. Like, the last one that I'm gonna mention, this is one that everybody has a hard time. Is it Ubisoft? Is it Ubisoft? Is it, everybody has a different way to...
Ubi.
Yeah, or Ubi. Yeah, just Ubi.
That's what I said. I just call them Ubi.
They've made Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs, Mario and Rabbids, and I can go on with games that I truly enjoy from Ubisoft. So, I need a longer segment, okay? Because if there's something I can talk about on and on and on and on, is studios. And let me put this out there before I get in trouble. Another one of my favorite publishers is Capcom.
Of course. But that's kind of unfair.
Yeah.
Because Capcom have made some of the best games of all time. Like You got the Street Fighter series. You got Resident Evil.
You got Resi.
Like Capcom is just especially from like in the early 90s, like they were killing it. Like they were dropping new games like they would drop 6-7 games a year. Like it was ridiculous the kind of numbers that Capcom was putting out at one point. And now they're even starting to see a resurgence now with Monster Hunter and the Resident Evil remakes and the new Street Fighter and
even the new titles, the new entries they're presenting now, right?
yeah, like Street Fighter 6 is an absolutely phenomenal game. The Resident Evil remakes, especially with 4 now, has been killing it. Monster Hunter is probably one of the best selling games that they've ever made.
Sunrise and Sunbreak.
Yeah, the DLCs, like Monster Hunter pretty much saved Capcom.
Mm-hmm.
Like they made so much money with it. I'm not even a big Monster Hunter fan, but they made a lot of money with Monster Hunter. Like that game came out and everybody was playing it.
It has a big community.
Yeah, the Monster Hunter community is no joke. Okay,
Yeah.
It's definitely not to be slept on. And so, like with Capcom, they're just one of those big ones that's just like, yeah, it's Capcom.
Yeah,
It's Capcom. Of course.
Capcom. I can't go wrong.
Mega Man.
Yeah. Going back to level 5, I cannot forget one of my other favorite games that I forgot to mention it, and I gotta mention it because if not, I'm gonna be so upset. Is Yokai Watch.
I was about to say, I was like, maybe they didn't make that, because I was like, I'm surprised she didn't say Yokai Watch.
Yeah, Yokai Watch, because oof, the music in Yokai Watch too.
I was like, wait a minute, you talking about the girl that got all the Yokai Watch games and she ain't mentioned Yokai Watch? I was like, kind of confused there.
I totally forgot, but I'm gonna act like I remembered.
Well, it's actually funny because a lot of the companies you named are a lot of the ones that I would have named. Like, so I'll go through those ones real quick.
Okay.
Square Enix, Square Enix, all iterations of them. Okay, because they were at one point, and I still would say this to this day, even though some people would disagree, that they are the kings of RPGs. Like they made some of the best RPGs ever. Like Chrono Trigger, the Final Fantasy series, the Super Mario RPG.
Can we mention the fact that this was, oh God, can we go on a segue real quick before you continue?
Let's go.
The latest Nintendo Direct.
The Super Mario RPG
remake. God, please tell me that you did. I didn't see this coming.
I did not. I need to look it up and see if Square are actually the ones developing it, because I'm not sure, but they made the original game. And it is.
Well, I say remake, but let's be fair. It's a remaster.
Remaster. Yeah, let's be correct. It's a remaster, not a remake.
Yeah, it's a
remaster.
Okay.
But yeah, like Square just, of course, they made one of my favorite RPGs of all time, Final Fantasy X. Of course, the world-renowned Final Fantasy VII, the remakes. Like they were just knocking out RPGs on a daily basis like it was nothing. So like you can't sleep on Square when it comes to that. So that's why I love Square Enix so much.
Yeah, hands down to Square.
They're just a beast. One of my other ones, of course, I'm gonna, just like you had Capcom.
Okay.
I got Nintendo.
Nintendo.
I mean, what can I say? I love Nintendo. They make Mario.
I don't know. I'm just saying it throughout the entire episode.
They make Zelda.
Nintendo.
They made Mario. They made Zelda. They made Metroid. Like, it's just, come on, man. It's Nintendo. They made of course I'm going to say Nintendo. Zelda's my favorite franchise of all time. Of course I'm going to say Nintendo.
I'm surprised I didn't mention Nintendo. I'm actually surprised I didn't mention it. Among everybody, I forgot.
One that I'm going to say that's probably going to surprise people that they wouldn't suspect this from me, but I'm also going to say Sega.
Really?
Yeah. I was actually a pretty...
You gotta do the Sega.
Sega! Like, Sega! In the Dreamcast era, it was Sega!
Oh, God.
But yeah, I was actually... People would assume just because I'm such a Nintendo fanboy that I wouldn't have much love for Sega. But I was actually a pretty big Sega fan. They actually had a lot of games that I was really into. Like, I really liked Sonic the Hedgehog. I really liked Knights. Like, they had a lot of really good games. And, like, Sega was an amazing company.
Is Restart from Sega?
I'm not sure. It was on Sega, but I don't know if Sega developed it or not.
Okay, gotcha.
They might have published it. But I'm not
okay.
sure if they developed it or not. But Restart is one of my favorite platform games of all time. So, yes.
Interesting.
But they did publish it. I don't know if they developed it, though. That I'll have to double check. But you might be right.
Okay. Okay.
And so I actually do have quite a bit of love for Sega. You also mentioned Level 5, which I love because of Ni no Kuni. Like, just that game alone, I was on board with Level 5. But then when I found out all the other games that they made as well, I was actually quite surprised. And I was like, man, they got a lot of bangers.
Yeah, don't sleep on Level 5.
Got a lot of bangers. And another one of mine was actually a recent developer of mine. Well, not recent, but one that I recently fell in love with. It's actually Monolith Soft, who make the Xenoblade Saga.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, I actually was kind of late getting to the Xenoblade franchise. It actually started on Xenoblade 2 that came out on the Switch. And I absolutely enjoyed that game. I was like, this is a really good RPG. And I was just like, you know what? I kind of want to see what more of this series is about. And then right at that moment, Nintendo was so smart for this too. Right when they did that, they did a remaster of the first Xenoblade game.
Oh, okay.
And brought it to the Switch. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. Now I can play Xenoblade 1. So I went back and played Xenoblade 1, and I absolutely fell in love with Monolith Soft. Monolith Soft are the kings of massive RPGs. Like, these games are some of the biggest games I've ever seen. Massive open worlds, ridiculously. It is like watching, like I related to watching One Piece. Like playing Xenoblade is like watching One Piece. It is like thousands of episodes of an anime. Like just twists and turns and superpowers and all love, power, friends, like all of that stuff. It's like the anime video game. And I'm currently playing through 3, and they have not let me down again. And there's either other Xenoblade games that are from, I want to say, GameCube and Wii U era that I haven't had a chance to play yet. But just from Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, I have fallen in love with Monolith Soft and their ability to make these massive worlds, tell these amazing stories, and just give you this amazing combat. And like, Monolith Soft is actually not to be slept on. They're actually a Nintendo. They're under Nintendo, but they are absolutely amazing. And another one that may or may not surprise people is Game Freak, because I absolutely love Pokemon.
I totally forgot about Game Freak, but then again, I don't play Pokemon. So.
Yeah, I love Pokemon, so I love Game Freak.
Yeah, I think because another ones that I can't mention exactly the titles, but I'm just overall a fan of them, is when it comes to the indie scene, I am a fan of Humble Fish Studios.
Oh yeah.
Because Humble Fish does a lot of good games. The other studio that I'm a fan of is Meatly. Meatly is the one that obviously created Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a big fan of them. And regarding the publishers, because at first I used to get confused back in the day and I thought they were developers, but they're actually publishers, is Digital Devolver or Devolver or Devolver Digital.
Devolver Digital.
Devolver Digital, which obviously published one of my favorite recent games that I completed, which is Cult of the Lamb.
Daggone right.
Which is amazing.
Such a good game. It is so, and the graphics is so beautiful. Such a pretty 2D game. Like, it's not too many 2D games that really catch my eye like that, but Cult of the Lamb is such a beautiful 2D game. Like, it looks so good.
Yeah, so like I can seriously go on and on with studios that I'm a big fan of. Atlas, in a way, has also some really good titles, you know, and it just, I don't know, I'm grateful to know the history of a lot of these studios, publishers, developers, because thanks to them, we can now enjoy a lot of these favorite, franchises that we've grown fond of. Like you said, you know, with your Zelda, your Metroid, me with, you know, Tomb Raider and Hitman and Watchdog and Assassin's Creed and all this stuff. You know, we've been able to fall in love with gaming. And that's pretty cool.
I think so too. Oh, one more I gotta mention. And I'm probably gonna say their name wrong, but it's like W Omega or whatever the name is. But they're the ones who make the Dynasty Warriors games. And they also created the Zelda version of that. Hyrule Warriors, and then the Age of Calamity.
Gotcha.
They did an amazing. And even before that, I actually fell in love with their Dynasty Warriors style games. Even though a lot of people don't like those style of games, I actually really like the Dynasty Warriors series. And then they did the Gundam one. They have a One Piece one. Like,
yeah,
they make a lot of really. I really actually like that style of game. Just like it's just, and you know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like beat 'em up.
Yeah, I agree.
And I used to really, really enjoy beat 'em ups like Streets of Rage,
Which is
and
on the
Final
rise
Fight.
again in a way, if you think about it.
Yeah, so
recently.
like those style of games kind of remind me of just like a beat 'em up where you just go in and just beat everybody up. So like I love what they did with the Zelda series, of course, but I even love the Dynasty Warriors games, the One Piece Warriors, the Gundam Warriors. Like I really, they did one for Fire Emblem that I actually tried. That was really good, and like I actually really like them. So like that's another one I wanted to give them some love as well because a lot of people be hating, but them games are dope.
We have to support them when we can because unfortunately, like I said, a lot of those studios are no longer existent, like, you know, Alpha Dream or Rare in a way, you know.
Oh, Rare, that's another one.
Yeah, so
how did I not bring up Rare? Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong Country.
it's one of the classics, you know. You can't go wrong.
Rare, just they had all the hits.
They definitely. Naughty Dogs.
Naughty Dog, of course.
Ooh.
Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Makes you want to sing.
So yummy. Oh, also got to give a shout out to Tri-Ace, who made the Star Ocean series, which is another one of my favorite RPGs of all time. So I gotta show Tri-Ace some love as well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Ubisoft, but I like Ubisoft because of the Assassin's Creed series.
Yes.
I love Assassin's Creed.
I love Assassin's Creed.
So good.
Don't care what anybody has to say.
So good. And 2 will is still to this day one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
It has one of my favorite video game characters of all time, Mr. I can always say his name, Ezio Auditore.
Ooh.
I love him. I love him.
Desmond.
Yeah. Hate that they killed my boy though.
Yeah.
They had to do that to my guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
What was the name of the guy from Assassin's Creed 3? From the American Revolution?
Connor.
Connor. You were my crush back in the day.
Connor was that guy for sure.
Oof.
Connor was definitely that guy.
That was my video game crush.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I gotta go with somebody in the world. I'm gonna go with Connor.
That's a topic right there. We need to do that. Video game crushes.
Oof.
Let's go.
Yeah, we definitely gotta talk. So
I get to talk about my boo.
my list is long, baby.
Yeah, I got to talk about my number one video game boo of all time.
God.
I love you, Urbosa.
Oh God.
I love you.
Oh God, Jesus, we're gonna have to definitely leave that for another episode.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna come up with a list. How about that? We make a list.
Video game boos.
Video game crushes.
Yeah. I like it.
Oh God. But you know what we have to do?
What we gotta do now?
We have to fast forward. Fast forward.
There we go.
There we go. And we can transition pretty nicely. And in fast forward, we're delighted and excited
Oh yeah.
with the upcoming announcements, news, what is going on in the world of ZapCristal, the Reset and Zap podcast, but also in the Master Sword music
Oh.
world.
Master Sword music.
And because there's so much going on, I'm gonna let you start so you can talk about some of those upcoming projects you're ready to reveal so everybody knows what's up.
Well, let's talk about it. Well, we are just finishing up Arcade 2.0, which is the second album from the Master Sword music family as a whole, which has been an absolutely fantastic ride. It's an amazing album, and I'm so proud of all the work that you and everyone else has done on it. So shout out to the Master Sword music family. The next project coming down the reins is the Master Sword Music Greatest Hits album.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, not too long ago, I did a live stream where we had a live panel where people voted on their favorite songs that I've ever done. And we also had some of my viewers vote, and I took votes in from Twitter, and we compiled all those numbers together, and we came up with a list of 20 songs of the viewers' favorite songs that I've done. And right after this project, we're going to move right into those. And what we did is we remastered a lot of the older music so it sounds better. Because back when I first started, I didn't know how to mix and master to save my life. So we remastered a lot of those older songs so they sound a lot better and they'll be a lot easier to listen to now. And we're gonna present those in a list of the 20 greatest MSM hits. So that'll be an album that'll be available coming up pretty soon. And right after that project comes out, then we'll be going into my next solo project, which is a little album I like to call All About You.
All about you?
No, you.
Oh, it's about you.
No, about you.
Oh, it's about me.
Yeah, it's about you.
Oh, so it's all about me.
This is a very different project than anything that I've ever worked on. Musically, I have experimented and I've done a new thing. And this album is going to be my storytelling album, where I'm going to basically tell the entire story of how I met Crystal, how I fell in love with Crystal, how we ended up together, and what happens after that. And we're doing something really, really special with the video, which I'm not sure I can tell yet. Can I tell yet?
Read all about it.
Can I tell them? Or
You can tell them a little bit.
Tell them a little. Basically, since the album itself is going to be telling a story, let's just say that the videos themselves are also going to be telling a story.
Yeah.
So it's everything around this project is going to be about the story. So that's going to be really, really interesting. I put a lot of work into this album, and I've done a lot of new things and new musical styles and new approaches to music. And of course, ZapCristal joins me on, I think, 2 songs on it, and some of my other Masterfield music family joins me as well. So that's going to be a really, really interesting album, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear it and see the project as it all comes together. So really excited about that. And
I was meaning to ask you, is it the very first storytelling album?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say fully storytelling album.
Gotcha.
I would say that if you stretch it a little bit, that Hero's Awakening kind of tells a story, because a lot of that album has to do with what I was going through at that time, dealing with my past relationship and then moving into a new relationship and then a new life and dealing with depression. And that one kind of tells a story, but it wasn't intentional. It's just kind of what I was dealing with at the time. Whereas this album is very, very intentional. Like, I wrote this album specifically to tell the story of us.
Okay.
So, I mean, even that, hence the title, All About You, because this album is all about you.
So that's exciting, because it's definitely the first storytelling album.
Yeah, definitely.
Safely to say.
Yeah, I say that's very safe to say.
Yeah. Well, for me, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot going on in this, in whatever time you're listening to this, in the upcoming weeks, we're very busy.
Very busy.
Very busy. So, for example, if by the time you're listening to this, it still hasn't happened, I'll be at Classic Game Fest.
Oh, yeah.
As a special guest.
Let's go.
We're going to be there hugging babies, kissing the baby, not the adult. I don't want that to sound creepy.
We'll be kissing each other, probably.
Kissing each other, probably. Then we're going to be signing pictures, shirts, whatever you want us to sign, taking pictures, and talking nonstop about all the good stuff that is going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
At Classic Game Fest, because boy, am I excited. It's my very first time, by the way, going to Classic Game Fest. I've been wanting to go for a while. I've never had the opportunity until now, and now going as a special guest, I'm excited to connect with other content creators that I've watched their content, but I haven't had the opportunity of seeing them, meeting them in person, so getting to say hi to them, chatting it up, having a good old time, shop, go to panels, and everything that goes with it, because Classic Game Fest has a lot.
Yeah, I think this will be my first major con that I've been to.
Yeah, music, live performances, oof. You can do a lot at Classic Game Fest. But also, depending when you're listening to this, we have a wedding stream.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. When is this wedding stream gonna happen? August 19th.
August 19th.
From 3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Central Time.
Central Time.
Yeah, our local time.
Yeah.
You can tune in and witness at my main channel a live ceremony of
snap.
2 individuals.
2 individuals.
I don't even know how they barged into my channel with no permission whatsoever. See, it's this girl called ZapCristal.
Yeah.
and she's marrying this guy who's called TJ the Gamer.
Yeah.
How did it even do that? How did it even come up with a live stream on my channel?
I don't know.
And apparently I'm hosting it.
Yeah.
August 19th
Yeah.
from 3 to 5
Pretty dope.
Central Time.
Well, if they want to know how that all happened, they should look out for that All About You album when it comes out. They might find out.
I love how you type it.
Yeah, like that.
Or they could just go to www.ZapCristal.com.
ZapCristal.com. For all things ZapCristal, by the way. If you hit that listen tab, you can get a link to everywhere that this podcast
Which happens to be that girl that's going to get married.
Yeah, right there. If you want to know when that stream is happening, you could probably sign up for the email list. You'll probably get an email, and you'll get all kind of notifications about everything that's going on at Camp ZapCristal.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'm hosting this, so it is what it is. But moving on, there's one last thing I'm excited about that. Do I have permission to talk about it?
Oh.
Can I reveal the title?
Go for it. Do your thing.
Because we haven't, right?
Do your thing.
Can I do it?
You can do it.
I can do it. Okay. Oh my God. Breathe, Crystal, breathe. Okay. All right. You got this.
You got it.
You got this. Okay. I'm not ready for this. Okay. After All About Me, or should I say All About You? Right after All About You, or no?
Pretty close to it.
I'm screwing it up. Okay, that's how excited I am. I'm pretty much screwing it up.
It'll be the next major project.
Next major project. Okay, because I don't know the date. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. That's this point. To be continued, to be dated.
Yeah. TBD.
TBD. Is my second album that is called Our Love Journey.
I like that title.
Now, Our Love Journey is going to be the continuation of All About You. Mm-hmm. It's also going to be a storytelling album, but from my side. From my perspective and what I went through. And eventually, TJ the Gamer is joining the album. So we're both putting in our own flavor, our own adobo.
Adobo.
Yeah, our own mix.
Saison.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of variety. Again, a lot of different approach to the album. It's very different. I mean, if I have to choose a word, it's different.
Very.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be the most different thing you hear coming out of Master Sword Music. I was thinking about it, and you actually have a very interesting distinction in the Master Sword Music family, actually.
Really?
You are the first MSM artist to do their own album.
Oh, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah. Everybody else has done features and songs here and there with me, but none of them have done their own album yet. So you'll be the first MSM artist outside of me to drop their own album.
Wow. I feel honored.
Yeah. It's pretty dope. I'm actually pretty excited about it, being the producer on the album and helping you write parts of it and helping you put it all together.
It's the second album that I got back into writing. You've written, obviously, songs and like your parts where you're featured. It's just really exciting. I love how the album is coming together and like all the fresh ideas and little surprises here and there that I'm dropping in the album. And I just can't I can't wait for a listening party.
It's going to be really interesting. I can't wait till we start dropping videos for that one. Because it's going to be the first time I'm dropping videos for an album that's not my own. So it's going to be really cool to be like, hey, this is my first artist dropping an album. Like, this is really dope.
Yeah. So, guys, make sure to join our communities and obviously ZapCristal.com so you can stay in the loop and under the radar with everything that's going on because it's exciting times. We're doing so much.
Yes, we are.
That I don't even know how we're even getting it done, including this podcast.
But we are.
So thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in to the I screwed it up, to the Reset
and Zap
podcast, because as always, I want you to remember to reset and zap
For the week.
You just wanted to beat me too.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.